about the self-defense tool that you can bring with you anywhere and everywhere you go. Something you can have with you all the time. It's always with you if you choose to carry it. And it's the self-defense walking cane. And it's just a simple stick with a crook on the end. And this style, this is the Cane Master's cane. These are made so that they're extremely durable. They're not likely to break when you use them for self-defense. They also have a lot of extra features that you can use to defend yourself with that we'll go over. They're not made only for self-defense. They're made because people need mobility devices. And if you ask, is that a weapon? Is that a self-defense tool? The correct answer is not really. It's a mobility tool. It's a medical device, and you can train with it and use it to defend yourself. So we're gonna go over some real basic things right from the start. I was gonna come on and tell you that, it's your mind, which is true. You have to have a mental perspective. You have to have some mental training. You have to be ready to defend yourself. You have to practice situational awareness or principles, but it's the mind. It's your mind. You can pick up any tool for self-defense. And yes, that's true. But if you're looking for a practical solution, something you can carry with you in your hand, in addition to your mind, in addition to your situational awareness, in addition to your principles of self-defense, but an actual tool that you can reach out and touch somebody with in self-defense. My favorite is going to be the self-defense cane because you can have it with you always and anywhere you go. One of the other things you'll see right from the start is that if they have a bladed weapon, which is more common these days, it seems like we're hearing more and more of slashing and stabbing attacks in public places. If they have one of these and you cannot carry one of these for whatever reason, or you don't want to, if you're in Canada, you're never going to use it. You made a good point. Someone just said that in Canada, you're not allowed to refer to it as a self-defense tool. That's also true in Great Britain. That's true in Germany, places where you're not legally allowed to defend yourself, it seems. And the truth is, it is not a self-defense tool. We might call it a self-defense cane as like a category of canes that can be used for self-defense, but any cane can be used for self-defense. I heard Keith Melton, who ran Cane Masters for a long time and is affiliated with Cane Masters still, and he was saying that even a hot dog legally can be used as a weapon to hurt somebody with, which is true. Imagine shoving it down his throat and making him choke on it, for example, for self-defense. But the point is, it is a mobility tool, it's a medical device, which is why you can have it anywhere and everywhere you are with. You take it anywhere you go. The law is going to say that, especially here in the United States and in most Western countries around the world, there will be laws that protect your ability to carry a mobility tool, a medical device that assists you in walking, in ambulation, and you can take it pretty much anywhere and everywhere. And then the places like the United States, and again, similar in other Western countries, you'll have laws that protect your medical privacy, your medical information privacy. And that means you don't have to explain to somebody, show them some doctor's note why you have it. So let me show you some basic things. We're gonna start with what's called a warm-up spin. I call it a warm-up spin. There's no international law that makes you call one thing or another when it comes to the walking cane. But the reason that you're gonna do this spinning in your training, and this isn't something you're gonna do to defend yourself. You're not just gonna stand there spinning, daring him to come through, but you might have it on the ground and he comes up, you might pop it up and smash him in the groin or hit him under the chin, or maybe he's reaching with that knife or trying to punch or choke. And you might smash and break his hand and then turn around and spin it down, coming straight down over the top of his head, down at an angle. You might bring it through and back like that. And those are all basic spins. It's not a big spin, but practicing this spin when you train with your cane allows you to get used to that motion and to develop a lot of speed when it comes to that strike. Now this Cane Master's cane, there's a link in the description if you want to see what these cost and what they're made out of. This one is made out of hickory. It's heavy, it's extremely strong and durable, it's flexible, and it hits really, really hard. So if you were to accelerate that spin coming into his face, down on top of his head, into his jaw, into his neck, into the ribs, or maybe you're striking at his knees, taking his knees out, you're going to be able to break bone because of the weight and the strength of this cane. Even if you don't have a lot of physical strength because your body's compromised, or maybe use the cane to walk with. And if you had to pick up your cane to hit somebody for self-defense, and you needed a cane to stand up, you could lean on another cane and you still use this cane with one hand, which is also a great feature of the walking cane used for self-defense. So from here, we do this basic spinning. This is something you can practice on your own. Easy to learn. You'll pick it up very quickly. You just make sure the long side is coming out of the thumb. Orion says he's ordering his Cane Masters on Friday. Yeah, this is the medium brown color. Please use my link if you order it. I get a tiny little commission, but that really helps with the garage dojo. It helps me get back on my feet so that we can open the school back up. But and you don't have to, but only if you would like to help me out a little bit. So, but this comes out the long side, the thumb side, and you push and pull. And then after you've done this for a while, I like to do it for about 30 seconds. Also gonna get your heart rate up. You can do this standing, you can do it sitting. Thank you, Orion, I appreciate that. Orion says he'll use the link. You can pull your stomach up and in, keep your abs tight, then you're gonna bring it over and back, making this figure 8 motion. And I'm just gonna show you some of these exercises that you can do that will assist you in using your cane for self-defense. Again, not spinning, not creating, like some kind of daring him to come through, try to get you, and he's gonna run into your cane, but so that when you need it, you're gonna be able to accelerate and strike in a way that you have good control of your cane and you hit super fast and super hard. So we practice this, and then to get it to the other hand, you just put palm over palm, put it in the other hand, and then you start to turn and then start to make small circles. Hello, Red Dog. Red Dog says, thank you for continued instruction. Red Dog, thank you for being here. I'm gonna make them because we get to train together like this. After you spin it on this side for about 30 seconds, same thing, bring it over and back. Notice that it forces you to keep your other hand, get it up and out of the way, make a good habit of guarding your head, protecting yourself with your non-striking hand. You can still use this to strike elbows as he comes in and get him out of your face. So if you get your hand up, that's a good habit. If he throws a punch and catches you off guard, your hand touching your head will let you absorb it, also giving you a bit of a kind of a shock absorber, a bumper there. You can also step in, drive that into his face before you bring this up and smash him with it for self-defense. So always practice getting that other hand up, and that's gonna allow you to do these spinning strikes from the floor. So think of the first one here, bring it up under his leg, and then bam, straight down on top of his head. Through the middle of his legs, into his hand, under his chin. But just put the stick between you and him. Stop him from coming forward. And then as he continues to come forward because he's trying to hurt you, take from you your freedom, your dignity, your life, maybe trying to hurt your family, you bring it up, and then you simply turn palm facing the sky, open the palm facing him, and then just down on top. And you can see that's just a very tiny motion, and it doesn't require a lot of strength. So you let the cane do the work, up and over. Practice that evenly on both sides. Like I said, you can do this standing or sitting. You can do this leaning onto another cane so that you don't fall to the ground if you need it for that. So you can defend yourself with one cane. You can strike with one cane, strike with the other cane if you're able to do that. Now the second thing I'm going to show you is from this position, sliding your hand down the front of it and then picking it up, putting it between you and him. You can thrust, bringing it to your shoulder, come through, chopping into his neck. Jim's here. Jim says, always good to see you, Jim. It's good to see you too. Sliding down the front, thrust to move him back, coming off the shoulder. Make sure you follow through with your strike. Come through to your other hip, come up to the other shoulder and bring it back. Notice your other hand's always up. Now the reason you're gonna bring it through the shoulder for your strikes is that you want to keep the fight in front of you and you want to stay behind your stick. Let him run into the stick. And if you bring your hand back here and you swing forward, kind of a big loping strike, then he's gonna close that gap and you're gonna wrap right around the back. He's not even gonna feel your cane. But if you're correctly coming off of your shoulder through his face for self-defense, then he's gonna run into your stick and you're gonna be able to stay behind it. Throw your hand on it real quick, smash him down, bring it through, smash his face, hook him there. You can see this another nice feature of these canes by cane masters is that big gnarly tooth that's gonna pull skin off, pull his nose out, rip his eye out of his head, his teeth out of his mouth for self-defense. That's gonna be very useful in defending yourself. And you smash him with it. Finish him off for self-defense if you have to. So from here, with the crook facing back, bend your knees to get it into that position, or pick it up and let it slide where you want it. That's another great benefit of this. Spinning creates callus on your hands, develops proprioception inside your hands, your muscles, allows you to learn timing and distance with this spinning, especially spatial awareness. If your arm is in the wrong spot, bam, you're gonna run into it. You're gonna figure that out real quick. So get good habits, hands up. Hello, Binks, good to see you. Red Dog, Beauty and Destruction, amen. Yeah. Sorry, I was starting to read some of the comments. They go by so fast, my eyes are getting old, I guess. So slide down, pick it up, thrust to move them back. This thrust isn't it's not an ending technique. You're not gonna stop someone with that, but he's not gonna walk through your cane, right? And if he does, it's gonna do some damage, and then you're gonna allow it to come into you, onto your shoulder, and you're gonna strike through with that very powerful, explosive, almost like a sword or an eskrima stick for you martial artists, a kali stick, a tanbo, coming through, smashing, other side. If you want, you can turn your palm up, bring it through, think ribs to clavicle coming through, or maybe taking out his knee, or taking out that hand that's reaching out to punch you, or choke you, or stab, or poke you in the eyes, and smashing the hand, and then bringing it down the other side, from this side, bringing it up this way. So you have sliding down, you practice thrust, angle down, angle up, do a horizontal strike, and then coming back, and then finish with a strike straight down the middle in combination. Yeah, Jim says he does plan on getting one of these canes. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate when you guys do that and you use my link. Sliding down, thrust, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 basic strikes. Put it in the other hand, switch your feet. Bend the knees to get into it. Other hand always up, thrust, 2 angled down strikes, 2 strikes angled up. Think about making X's, 2 horizontal strikes, and then down on the top of his head. Now, the next thing that you're gonna do with this in this position is simply point the thumb at the thread. Just like you're gonna shove, there was that old movie, I think it was The Presidio, where Sean Connery sticks his thumb and hits the guy's neck. Some of you guys know that movie. But the idea is pointing your thumb puts the cane into the front hand. So you point it up, you're coming straight in. Yeah, Jim says learned so much from me and Keith. Yeah, Keith at Cane Masters, Keith has great detailed technical knowledge on not just all the cane stuff, he's a cane master, but all the attributes of his canes, his beautiful canes. Of course, it started with Grandmaster Mark Shuey, who started Cane Masters and is a legit cane master for many, many years. And then Keith took over the company, grew it, changed it, standardized a lot of things, made the quality, improved the quality and consistency. And then his son is taking it now to a new level. So Cane Masters is a great company to order from. And people will say to me sometimes, Cane Masters is so slow. I ordered it a while ago. It's because they take every cane, it's a piece of wood, it's a blank called a cane blank. They bend it to the right. Yeah, Jim says this is a beautiful cane. It very much is. You should feel it. That's the best part about it. It feels better than it looks, and it looks fantastic. But they bend the cane, steam it, bend it. Then they carve all the different features that you order that you want specific to you onto your cane. And then they soak it for days in a blend of oils and polymers, I think, kind of a internal secret of theirs. I don't even know what it is, but that's just my assumption, from feeling it, so that it finishes it. It brings the moisture back into the cane, making it so much stronger. This one's hickory that's been stained and finished, and just gorgeous, gorgeous cane. So it becomes heavier, becomes more durable, less likely to break, more flexible. Wood will break before it bends, so you want to have great flexibility. Mr. X says Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Mr. X. And then you'll be able to fight and defend yourself with the self-defense tool that you can take anywhere and have with you all the time. Yeah, Hickory Heart. If you go to their website, the link is below on the Cane Masters. You can find so many different options to make just a fantastic cane. Yeah, one of the and I have everything from the least expensive dojo cane, which is fantastic. Yeah, Red Dog says it's a work of art with attitude. Amen to that. My dojo cane, it's made out of oak. I've had it. I've hit so many things with it. Had it years. It's nearly indestructible. I love the way it feels. I've been using this a lot more lately, just because I got it recently, and I love the way this cane feels in my hand. I like the weight. I like the durability. I like to use it. And it's a lot heavier than my dojo cane, so I have to get used to moving it through space and time and not whacking myself with it, which is how you want to train. You want to get used to it. All right, so sliding down the front, point the thumb, step in and thrust. Now I want you to think of using it as a rifle with a bayonet on the end. You've run out of bullets, right? So you're using it military style. This style is more Kali, Eskrima, Salat, a little bit of katana, right? A little bit of sword. The stain color, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll ask and I'll come back. I'll put in the description, I'll put the name of the color. But when you put it in your hand, think about rifle, right? And think about simple thrust. Thrust, butt strike, right? Think about smashing with two hands. Think about boxing his ears, hitting with two hands, using it as almost a baton or a pugil stick, coming down with the top of it, the top of his head, using this crook coming up maybe between his legs into his coccyx, right? Pop him off the ground, lift him up here. Think of hook and jab, but there's so many basic things you can do here. Happy New Year, Giuseppe. And smashing with two hands through his teeth, through his nose, moving him back. You can do all that from this basic position here. And because you have two hands on it, if you were to grab it, you twist and smash, or twist and smash. Anytime somebody grabs your cane, even if it's one hand, he grabs the tip, lock it to your hip. As soon as you lock your cane to your hip, now he's pulling on your whole body. If your hand's out here and he grabs it, he starts trying to pull it out of your hand, you're gonna be playing tug of war. But if you step into it, pull it on your hip, get your other hand on it, twist and push. Twist, and when you push, you're pushing down with your whole body, and that makes you stronger than him. He has arm strength, hand strength. He might be stronger than you that way. You have core body strength. You have back, belly, muscle, legs, turning, pushing, thrusting, pushing them off. So those are basic ways you use it. And that, Dale says, great training. Thanks, Dale. Thanks for being here. So sliding down the front, those are the techniques we've been using. This is a little bit like Irish stick fighting with the shillelagh, right? Coming down that way. You can use it in that way. You can also turn the crook out facing him. The crook facing out is ergonomically stronger. It's easier on your wrist. If you haven't tried this yet, where the crook is facing the front and you can lean into it, and you use your cane every day, you're gonna like this better. That's what I experienced. And every time I turn it this way, there's a little bit, your muscles are doing the work, keeping you from collapsing onto it. This way, it's a straight line, almost going straight down. So ergonomically, so much stronger, less tension, less pressure on your wrist. From here, you can snatch that up right between his legs quickly, bringing it through all those things that we did before with the strikes. You can do that even stronger now because we've shifted the weight from your thumb side to your pinky side and lined it up with that long bone. So you have a lot more leverage here. You can hit harder when it's in this position. So this is a better way to hold it. Yeah, Jim says he switched to this and he likes it a lot better. The next thing you can do is, like before when you slid down the front, You can bend the knees and slide down the back. Again, a lot of this comes from Irish stick fighting, right? This is shillelagh. Bring this up here, blocking. Maybe he catches you off guard, he's throwing that punch. You get behind it, or he's swinging a weapon at you, a bladed weapon especially, or maybe he's got an expandable baton. He's got a skateboard. There were a bunch of punk thugs walking around smashing people with skateboards during the vid. You can block like this, get the other hand behind it. So you're stronger. You've created this structure, which is a lot stronger. You can also bring that through, turning this way, which forces your cane to come out, smash him against the side of his face for self-defense. So from this position, you can also pop it up. Hey man, you're too close. Get away from me. You can jab very quickly. You can bring it across this way. You can bring it up, all using the long side of your cane, between his legs, under his chin, into that hand, across his face. You can thrust with two hands, chop with two hands, using that big nasty tooth again to rip. Chopping here, you can smash him back. You can lift your backhand up, coming under his chin, into his hand. And because you have two hands on it, again, you're stronger, smashing through his face, into his teeth, into his nose. This hard bar of hickory is gonna break everything it hits, but you're gonna control his head. You're gonna move him back for self-defense. You'll probably hit with enough force, you can knock him out, turn off his operating system, so you don't have to worry about him operating one of these, trying to get you with that, right? So think about a boxer in this position. From here, this is a sliding down, bring it up. Man, you're too close. This is very non-threatening. Your hands are up. You're too close, you're getting too quick for me. Wise guy's asking about how likely is it the Filipino stick is gonna break in a fight? Not very likely, unless it's an old stick. Some of you guys have done Eskrima, Filipino martial arts, arnis, Kali, you do this, Salat, any variation of that, you're using the rattan stick. They will break eventually, but not until you've smashed them against another one for like 10,000 strikes. So it's not very likely. You're gonna defend yourself. Same thing with this one. You're gonna be able to defend yourself with this. Rattan is just, it's so durable. So from here, think about smashing straight, right? Think of a boxer's jab. Think of a hook punch. I said you can smash him with the length. You can also just smash him in the side of his jaw, break his jaw for self-defense. Using this part, hook punch, right? You can hook like this, you can hook like this. Some people hook like this. It's a very effective way, especially when you got gloves on, smash somebody. Getting excited thinking about boxing. Straight, hook, uppercut, right? Straight, hook, uppercut. And the great thing about this is, you know, if I'm here, or if you're here, and you're inside, and you can't really use a lot of the length of your cane because there's a low ceiling, or there's not too, or he's already right on top of your face, you're gonna have it here, you jam that straight up, smashing the teeth down his throat. You can angle it a little bit, stick it through his throat, creating distance between you and him, give him that gag, or it could be a fatal strike. He's trying to choke you to death and kill you, take from you your freedom, your life, your dignity, hurt your wife, hurt your child, hurt your grandchildren, smash him in the face with all of that. Turning it and ripping, that's not really a boxing move, but since we're here, thinking about how you use this cane for self-defense. So this is one of the best self-defense tools. Think about improvised self-defense. Think about a hidden self-defense tool that you can take with you anywhere at any time, always have it, because it's a medical tool and it is not a weapon. It is not a self-defense tool originally. That may be how you use it, but you might use your elbow as a self-defense tool. Is the German government gonna take your elbow away? Are the Brits, I'm not gonna say any names, is the guy the dictator up in Canada, is he gonna outlaw your elbow? He's gonna outlaw your palm? He's gonna outlaw your headbutt? No, he can't. They might outlaw your cane and tell you gotta, I don't know, hobble around or sit in a wheelchair. I don't know what they would do, right? It's just not likely. The point is, you can, it's hidden. It's a hidden tool. Hello, Elita, good to see you. Thank you for you being here. You have this with you most places you go. It's hidden in plain sight because it is a mobility tool. It's a self-defense tool. You don't ever have to call this a self-defense tool. Someone stops you on the street, hey, that's a nice cane. What is it? Oh, that's a self-defense cane. No, it's, My hip's hurting today, my knee, my ankle. And for me, that's a true statement. 7 days out of the week, something's hurting. And then sometimes it's really, and if I don't use it, I got a very noticeable limp. But you don't have to have a limp to carry it. This just might be a stylish cane. It doesn't have to be this style. You can have a derby cane with the handle that comes off the side. You can have one with the ball on the top, like a gentleman's walking stick. You can have one that's super thick. You can have one that's really thin. You can use anything you can. It might not be one of these. You can use an umbrella. Yeah, Jim says this is always a medical device. That never goes away. You might use it in self-defense, but like I said, you might use your elbow. You might use your palm. You might use your clever brain and come up with a good way to talk yourself out of it. You should always do that if you can, blah, blah, blah. Disclaimers, don't hurt somebody. And that's what we're talking. We're not talking about street fights. We're not talking about bar fights. We're not talking about fighting. We're talking about self-defense, life or death situation. The world is crazy right now. It seems that way, right? And it's not. There's more good than bad. But as we've seen in the last couple of days, they're kicking stuff off. They just started, and it's been projected for years and especially months that they would have massive attacks starting in 2025, and that they would start with these lone wolf attacks with cars driving into crowds like we saw in Germany, like we saw in Texas, like we saw in Louisiana, New Orleans, like we saw whatever this cyber truck's gonna be in Vegas. And then 5 or 6 more over in Europe that have happened just in the last couple of days. Some they're reporting a lot, some they're not reporting as much. You gotta do your own digging if you're paying attention to it, but you don't have to. Just pay attention generally to self-defense. And I'm not saying this is gonna stop the electric truck that's coming at you. And that's not the point. It's if you don't have any other choice, you have to go downtown, you have to take public transportation, you have to go get you some groceries, you have to go to the store and pick up your medicine and food and water and all the other things that we have to do every day. You gotta go pick up your kid from school, you have to do this and that. And you can't carry one of these, and you can't carry one of these, or you can, and you want something as an additional option, right? When I am working, I have this open carry, because that's my job. So I have this on my hip, I have this in my pocket, I have pepper gel and a canister on the back. I have a flashlight that I can use to blind somebody if it's nighttime, or I can use as a loaded fist to smash somebody with. I don't carry this at work, although some days I really wish I did because I'm in so much pain. But yeah, Binks brings up a good point. We could jump into. I'm going to have Tim Miller. Tim Miller is former Secret Service, retired Marine, Homeland Security, law enforcement, and he professionally teaches. You'll see him on a lot of the big news channels, more conservative like Newsmax, Fox, Christian Broadcast Network, TBN. He's on Chuck Holton's channel. But Tim and I talk daily. Most days. He's just been super busy because all these corporations, churches, and schools are calling him in. Hey, you got to train our people, What's coming? Something's coming. We know it's coming, because they're getting all the information. They want their people trained. So he's agreed to come on this channel. We're going to talk again about what you can do to keep yourself safe and your family safe. In addition to the physical things like this, what does true situational awareness look like? What does true preparation look like? What are the tools that you can use? And I've started to upload to my pasquinelli.com website more articles, specifically on school self-defense or school security, because I've been doing a lot more consulting with school security, and then professionally that's what I do. And it's something that I think about all the time. And I bring training in, I get training myself. So if you're interested, we're gonna have that conversation here, hopefully sometime later today or maybe tomorrow. But we're also gonna do a lot more of this. What do you do when you don't have this, or when this is an option? Because if you go, like we're going soon to take my daughter to a concert, Christian music concert at a great venue, and we have great tickets that were given to us, great opportunity, and I've been there a few times, and I know I've got to walk through a metal detector surrounded by 4 police officers who will not let me bring anything other than a flashlight, a walking cane, and I think that's it. I think those are the only self-defense tools. They even take away my little, the little mace can that's on my wife's keys, and and they'll take away my Kubotan keychain, a little stick. They won't let me take that. Yeah, thanks for Ryan. Thanks for that. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for everybody for being here. My point is, we need to train. We need to be prepared. I've been eating healthier. I cut out all the carbs, and this has nothing to do with, well, I guess it is kind of self-defense. Self-defense against a lot of pain. My hip has been feeling fantastic compared. It still hurts, but it's so much better. And where before I was struggling just to limp, now I can actually jog. So I was in my office earlier, which is a giant campus, and I had some meetings in different areas, and I had to go do some things in different areas, and I ran to each one just to prepare myself, because I hear the alarm bells ringing. The alarm bells are trucks pulling into Christmas, or smashing through Christmas markets, and it's not the trucks that are doing it, it's the people behind the wheel. So murderous people killing people in Christmas markets in Germany and other places in Europe and in New Orleans, and planning these events. And so I need to be able to run in response, and you need to be able, if you can. And if you can't, that's okay. But maybe for you, that mobility is increased. It's another way you can use your cane. You start by doing some air squats, leaning into your cane, unweighting your body, getting muscles built into your legs, not big looking muscle, but running to protect your child, your grandchild, your spouse, getting yourself out of there. Also, I like to do a lot of push-ups. I don't like to go to the floor anymore because of my stinking hip. So I do standing push-ups. And it's not necessarily cheating because there's no rule that says I have to do push-ups one way or the other. So I take a band, a resistance band. I put the link to these, by the way, in all my videos, because we talk about these resistance bands all the time. So that's in the description if you need one. This band will cost you like less than 20 bucks. You throw it on your cane, and then you'll be able to do about 50,000 or more, maybe 100,000 repetitions before your band will ever even think about wearing out. And you do this standing for 30 seconds because you want time under tension to grow that muscle. And again, not to make yourself look beach ready, but to make yourself able to punch through someone's face for self-defense, or strike with your cane for self-defense, or push somebody off of you for self-defense, or get yourself up off the ground for self-defense, or pick up your kid and take them to the exit and get them out of harm's way for self-defense, or scoop up your spouse and run when you see that truck barreling down, knocking people down for self-defense. And then pushing down, you change the angle, and by changing the angle, Lau said didn't know this. Lau, this is an entire gym membership, and it's January, right? So everybody's doing the New Year's resolutions. You want to get fit this year? Get yourself a $15, $20 band and use your cane and save the rest of your money. The rest of the money you'd spend on that membership, the other $1,000, put it in your pocket. Pay your debt. Pushing it down, 30 seconds, that hits the lower part of your chest, helping you push yourself up out of the chair, off of the couch, out of the, away from the dinner table. Not to get away from the food. Like the bad guys coming, you gotta get out of there. Pushing up and away to hit the upper part of your chest. So now you have three basic angles, and you can do them, and then with your hands down, you let it just sit there as you rest. All that's gonna activate all that muscle, making it more dense, making it more explosive because you're using bands instead of free weights. Less likely to injure you, less damage on your joints. Then you put your hands in the middle, bring it up to your forehead, push up and away, and fire the upper part, the back of your arm, your tricep, which is what strikes, all these strikes, pushing strikes. You have pushing strikes that are also pulling strikes. You're pulling through the back. We can do that with this band too. And then, Dead Wolf says, inspired you to make it out of an old inner tube. That's what we used. We used to call it a quick band. We'd take old bicycle inner tubes and white belts, because they always come with uniforms, get extra ones, when you own a martial arts school. And you make a knot in the white belt, stuff it into the tube that you cut in half, duct tape it, and then you have two loops, one on each side. One person puts it on his ankle, you put it on your ankle, he stands solid, or he'll go flying on his butt, which is kind of funny. And then you just practice lifting the knee, which is the first part of the kick, right? And it makes your feet and your footwork so much faster. And then we also use those for what we're doing right here. And that's where we started, inner tubes, way before, long before they even had these things. For years ago, 30 years ago we did that. Pushing your hips back, throw it under your butt, now you're doing curls. And you can do curls with your hands on the outside. After 30 seconds rest, then bring it on the inside. So you're hitting a different part of your bicep. And then here, most people don't know that the faster you can snap that hand back and get it back into the guard, less likely you're gonna get punched in the face, but also the harder you're gonna hit. And a lot of the jab is actually based on your bicep. So you see boxers will develop really powerful shoulders and upper arms because of all of the punching. You're gonna get that with these exercises. You turn your palm down, and now you're strengthening the forearm, which is what holds your cane when you're defending yourself with this hidden self-defense tool you can take with you anywhere, anytime. You can step into it, and then with your 2 feet, your feet wide, you can practice curls this way. You can put it on 1 foot and then pull it up. You can practice a standing military press, getting your shoulders stronger. The sky's the limit. You can do so many things just using a band. That's with the cane. You move the cane to the side. Now, there's so many other things that you're gonna get just out of a gym that you can spend less than 20 bucks. Jim, thanks for that. Jim says, Matt's always the man. I really appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys being here. If you need a walking cane for mobility or self-defense, check out Cane Masters. I put a link in the description. I do get a small commission. It does not pay the bills, but it helps me buy more stuff like this. Every time I break the camera, and it helps me replace the cameras, and which is my cell phone basically, and the tripods. I break the tripods mostly. And I put a link to this. I also put a link to Tim Larkin's book. If you haven't read When Violence is the Answer, get that now, because now, times like these, that's a great time to look into that. And if you haven't followed Tim Miller at Lionheart Skills, go find Tim Miller, put Tim Miller Security or Tim Miller Self-Defense, and you'll find him. I put a link in the community post. I made a community post about Tim Miller today with Chuck Holton. They were talking about how you can stay safe in these crazy times. And it's just common sense, but it's also from the perspective of law enforcement, military, and Secret Service. This guy knows everything. And he does it constantly. He still does it. He's still training everybody. So you can learn a lot from him. If you haven't seen him, he does video breakdowns on different events and how you can use those to keep yourself safe. Anyway, thanks again for being here, everybody. And I will see you hopefully later today with Tim.